COVID-19. We need to first control the virus to make sure that we are doing all we can to protect Californians.
Valley Assemblyman Dr. Joaquin Arambula doubling down on Governor Newsom's stay-at-home order as he introduces a new COVID Medi-Cal for all bill that includes illegal immigrants. Will it end up on the governor's desk?
You know, I think they spent $20+ million against me, and this is one of the third or fourth most expensive races in the nation.
Breaking his silence for the first time since losing the election against David Valadao in one of the most heated congressional races in the country. Congressman T.J. Cox reveals his political plans moving forward and why he believes he lost out on his bid to return to Congress. And our panel ready to weigh in. From Fresno City Council President Miguel Arias getting into a war of words with the police chief and the Fresno County DA, to California's Attorney General being nominated for one of the biggest roles in the Biden-Harris administration. Welcome to Sunday. It's KC24 Sunday Morning Matters.
Now, from your local election headquarters, KC24, this is Sunday Morning Matters with your host, Alexan Balakian.
And good Sunday morning to you. I'm Alexan Balakian. Thank you for joining us, and please join the conversation on Twitter at RealAlexan. Use the hashtag Sunday Morning Matters. Along the way, one-on-one with Fresno's new top cop, Paco Balderrama, and famed criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos with the latest on the Armenian conflict. But first, the Fresno City Council warning people not to hold big gatherings or you will face a penalty.
And what we've asked of them is show up, educate the person. If it continues, send a warning in the mail. And if it continues and it's egregious, you might get a fine in the mail. And of course, residents have an opportunity to challenge those fines to the administrative process.
Having a fine at Christmas time when people are losing their jobs, it's not really the right kind of message. I think we're gonna lose a lot of the intent.
On Thursday, the Fresno City Council voting 4-3 in favor of a new COVID ordinance to cite residents who hold gatherings of 50 people or more. The amount of the fines have yet to be determined. The city's code enforcement team will police it. Earlier in the week, City Council was looking to vote on a similar ordinance for gatherings of 15 people or more. But that set off a war of words. Fresno Police Chief Andrew Hall said officers will not enforce such an ordinance. Fresno County DA Lisa Smitkamp denounced the ordinance, telling council members to research the constitutionality of it. Council President Miguel Arias then fired back in a statement saying, like at the federal level, it's time to move on from destructive and divisive politics. Now, in addition to the City Council unanimously did vote for a resolution to have the state issue more COVID resources immediately, as the county has no more ICU beds available. So tensions running high this week for City Council, especially our region, as they complete the first of a 3-week at-home order. Let's welcome in Assembly Member Dr. Joaquin Arambula, who was just sworn in this week for another term after winning re-election. Congratulations, Dr. Arambula. How are you?
Thank you, Alexan. Doing wonderful, staying safe here at home, and pleased to join you on the show again.
Well, I want to start with this because obviously we're going into the second week of a 3-week at-home order that Governor Newsom issued, especially for our region, who is now down to 0% capacity ICU beds, especially here in Fresno County. Should the enforcement be made on the local level if it was issued by the state?
The state has really deferred to locals to be able to make those decisions, and I believe the public health officers, as well as our scientists and medical experts, have been making recommendations regarding staying at home. And for my own sake, I'd like to be able to tell the public that we are in the midst of the worst of the part of the dark winter, and would encourage us to be as vigilant as we could to decrease transmission, as now is the crucial, important time for us to gain control of this vicious virus.
You know, local law enforcement has said they would not enforce any of the measures made on the state level. Do you think law enforcement should get involved, or should it be voluntary?
I think we need to continue to work with all our partners during the middle of this crisis to make sure we are all working together. We are all in this together, and it will take all of us working together to be able to gain control of this vicious virus. And we just encourage us to all be able to figure out how to get there together.
You know, last week on this very program, one of your colleagues up at Sacramento, State Senator Andreas Borges, he did ask Dr. Mark Galey for specific data that traced restaurants and personal care businesses to the spread of COVID-19, and he says there's none to be found. Do you find that to be disturbing?
I would allow Senator Borges the chance to explain his own decision-making. I will tell you that I have been following many of the public health directives that we have been putting out as a state, and have been encouraged at our ability to help to educate and inform the community about best ways in which we can help to protect ourselves, and believe that it will take sharing of information and data for us to improve upon this. But everything that we're hearing is crystal clear about the need for us right now in this time to be listening to all of the experts and the data, which is suggesting for us to continue to stay at home, to socially distance, to wear our mask, and to wash our hands as the best way for us to control this virus.
Is it fair, though, to close down businesses, kind of pinning the blame on them? It's those businesses that drive the 5th largest economy in the world here in California.
I've been reading quite a bit, Alexan, and I won't distract us from it, but we had a similar economic decline about 100 years ago from the Great Depression. And one of the sayings that FDR had during that time is that business can't thrive when the world is failing. I think during COVID-19, we need to first control the virus to make sure that we are doing all we can to protect Californians, to protect our constituents, and believe that is of the utmost importance right now, while we are figuring out how to support and help the small businesses, which are the backbone of our economy.
You know, this week you introduced a health care for all bill for all vulnerable Californians during the pandemic, regardless of immigration status. How will it work, and do you think it will get to the governor's desk?
Yeah, this is our, it's been a movement for us to work on health for all, and we will continue to push on this value that healthcare is a human right. Right now, unfairly and unjustly, those who are immigrants are excluded from being eligible for Medi-Cal for their immigration status. And yet when we looked at this population, what we find are that many of them have been in our country and our state for over a decade and have been making significant economic contributions to our communities as well as to our social fabric. This law will allow those who are income eligible under 138% of the federal poverty level, which is roughly $17,000 for an individual or $35,000 for a family of 4, will allow them the chance for California to now put them onto Medi-Cal.
Who will pay for it?
Well, right now, immigrants are paying taxes. They're working. Immigrants contribute roughly $180 billion to our state's economy, representing one of the agricultural counties that's most productive, not only just in our state, but frankly, the world. We were #1 last year. I know we could not have gotten there but for our immigrant communities. And so while they help us to get a bountiful harvest, I think we have a responsibility to ensure that they are offered some of the same basic protections. While we deem them essential, sometimes our policies treat them as if they're expendable, and this law will help us to right that injustice and be able to offer them health insurance.
The county is only about to receive 7,800 doses of the vaccine once approved. Are you going to push the governor for more here? That doesn't seem like anything in a region that is at 0% bed capacity.
I will continue to put the needs of my constituents in the San Joaquin Valley front and center as I advocate for making sure that we get our just resources, and will continue to push for as many vaccines as we can bring back to our communities. I will say that I've been trying to prioritize those who are essential workers, who are on the front lines, whether it be nurses or doctors like my sister who's a nurse at Kaiser, or those who are showing up every day to work in our fields, because while they are exposing themselves, we should also be figuring out how to try to protect them with this vaccine as well.
All right, Dr. Joaquin Arambula, Assembly member, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, still to come, is the City Council trying to stop the spread of passing their gathering ordinance, or is it causing more COVID fatigue and constitutionality problems? Our panel weighs in next.